Hello everyone and welcome to Gurukul Online Learning Network. Today we're covering the topic Introduction to English Debating, and we're going further into how to get the information and utilities you need to get started on debating. I am Aian Adib, and without further ado, let's get started. Now, debating is a heavily focused sport on information. The more you know, the more materials you have to prove your point in an argumentation. And the more you know and the more knowledgeable you are around the current affairs and the international relationships of the world, you are far more equipped to go into debating and do well. So always remember to collect as much information as you can, and always remember to keep a track of what's going on in the current world. And for that, we have a few resources we always use to see and judge on what is the best thing that is going on in the world right now. So let's get started on the first topic that I have, the Vox Media. So the Vox Media is quite a huge source of the current affairs that are going on in the world right now. Vox covers a lot of the political debates and the social economy problems that are going on in the world right now. So to see this, you can either go to the Vox YouTube page that has a plethora of information and debating resources that you can use. Of course, as I mentioned, debating resources, it's not like they will teach you how to debate, but it will give you a very big insight into different things that you need for debate. For example, in debating, there are sometimes some things called prep motions. This is much more prevalent in WSDC, and in prep motions you can see very huge topics that can be covered by researching into what is going on. So if you go to Vox and see where this is happening, this provides a huge insight into the international relations and the current affairs. Go to Vox YouTube page and make sure to see the affairs that are going on about, let's say, if your current motion is about Russia, you could go to Vox and see their videos on Russia and their problems going on currently. Now, the second source is now this. This is a huge information, a huge place to get information in Facebook. So now this is quite active on Facebook, and if you like their page, you can see a lot of things going on regarding America. So in America, as expected, it's a huge country and many states to it, and America has a lot of different internal politics and notions going on in this world, and that does not mean that only America is covered by Now This. Now This covers a lot of socioeconomic issues that are going on in the world, and they provide these very insightful videos into how you will see what is going on. They provide commentary and new kind of information that you probably won't find typically without reading into it specifically. So to just go to Facebook Now This and make sure to like their page and follow what is going on in the current world. Now this also covers a lot of the parliamentary debate that goes on, Congress debate that goes on in America, and that is very much insightful into how the political pressure or the political scene in America is going on. Thirdly, Economics Explained is a very good source of all things that are related to economics or finance in debates. You can go to Economics Explained and see videos on how they cover why GDP isn't a good measurement point to see things, or you could even learn about economics as a whole. They have a lot of videos on YouTube that you will find very interesting, and they cover it in a very much more interesting manner in which even a newcomer can come in and see how to tackle economics debate and basically finance related debate in itself. So Make sure to go to the YouTube page of Economics Explained and subscribe if you like it. These are very short and insightful videos that will very much improve your debate on how you tackle finances and economics. Now, The Economist is a great news source. Now, as you know, The Economist also has a magazine that they publish every month. So to do this, you could either go to Nilkit and buy buy a edition of Economist that is found for quite a cheap price, or you could even get their monthly subscription on their app and pay for that. It is a very good source as it not only covers the economic side of the world, it also covers current relationships and what is the main topics that are very important and going on that you want to know. It is probably weekly that you can just go in and see what's going on in the world currently and get an insight on it. So another thing that a lot of us in Bangladesh do is get the Economist Cracked app from a website. So from APK Share or something, you could get the Economist Cracked app. But if you do have the money to support them, make sure you're supporting the paper as they put a lot of work into it, and this is very important for us to take into consideration as this is quite a huge topic to cover. Now, The Economist is also very good for improving your knowledge of what is the most important here. So unlike the others, they cover the most important things that are going on in the week right now. So it is a very short and insightful document to see the current affairs and then read upon it in other pages like the Vox or now this. So if you're trying to get a short, insightful way to look into what's going on in the current world, get The Economist. Now, if you're a lot like me and you don't like the traditional media of how they cover it in a monotone way and it's not that fun, you could even watch shows that are like Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. This covers many of the current affairs that's going on and in a much more playful manner. John Oliver is a great talk show host, and his insights into how this is working and how the world works and how the issue that we're talking about goes into play is very much fun, and you will find fun in watching them and knowing more. His way of storytelling and how he does it is a very much fun experience overall, and this also provides you with knowledge into what you should do and what you should keep in mind. A lot of us debaters really love to watch Last Week Tonight on YouTube, as they provide episodes on YouTube, and if you've got an HBO subscription, make sure to look into it every week. So Last Week Tonight is a great source. Even if it's a talk show, it is a great source of current affairs and a great source of even economic debates or America. And it not only covers America, even though it's from America, it covers all the issues of the world. For example, it has also covered the Indian election. It has also covered Chinese debt trap, and it has also covered many sources of how things are not exactly what it seems. Go to their YouTube page, look at their video, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Next, YouTube playlists. Now, YouTube has a plethora of debating content. YouTube has a lot of sessions by very much better debaters who are quite famous in the world. Now, YouTube, if you go to YouTube and search debate playlist or debating playlist and basics to debating, you will see a lot of content. There is a playlist that is very famous called the debating playlist, and it's got a lot of debates and different types of specific topics being covered by some of the greatest debaters in the world. Now, if you want to improve your debating, that is a must-have to go and watch those videos. Most of the videos are more than an hour long or an hour long, but trust me, if you can sit through them, they are some of the best resources you'll get on how to improve your debate and how to make a better case. They also cover very specific topics like IR or finance and tell you how to tackle this motion in a much more broader way with their own taste and their own styles. So once you get to know how this works and how the debating scene works and how some of the top debaters of the world are facing the motions that they get, this is one of the best resources to have. So make sure to go to YouTube and search up anything you're afraid of tackling. For example, I was very afraid of IR, but then I searched up how to tackle IR debating, and there was a lot of sessions on some of the best debaters on how they are tackling IR motions, and that showed me quite a good insight into where and what I should be looking into and what I should be making a case out of and what I shouldn't be making a case out of. So make sure you're going to YouTube, search debating playlist and see what is exactly going on. Now, the best source of improving your debate is looking at past debates. Now, past debates are almost always recorded and put on YouTube. WSDC, World School Debating Championships, and WUDC, World University Debating Championships, almost always records their debates from the start to the end. Even from the group stages to the finals, you will see a lot of debates that have been done on the grand scale. So from there, you can see how these motions are given to these people and how they're tackling the motions given to them. When you see better debaters and some of the best debaters going about and giving their own personal debating gestures and motions and nuances to the speech, you will see how your own speech lacks or how your own speech differs from what they are doing. So when you get to know what they are doing, you can improve your own speech vocabulary, you can improve your own speech style, and even if you like someone very much, copy their style, but make sure to make it your own. Personalize it, see what your own version or your own rendition of the speech would be if you yourself were to give the speech. Remember, a lot of motions released in these debating tournaments are available online. So look at those motions, go through them, make a case out of them, see how you would fare against the best debaters in the world and see how your case differs, and see if the case you made was also broken by their rebuttals by some of the best debaters in the world. So when you're doing that, you get a notion of what you should be doing extra compared to what you are currently doing now. One of the best speeches and almost unanimously agreed is Bo Seo in his WDC 2016 finals. This was one of the best opening speeches by a prime minister and is looked at as one of the best speeches given by a person in WUDC. So make sure to at least check this debate out and see how Bo Seo comes up and gives one of the best speeches in the debating world. And as you're doing that, see how you would do it different. Of course, no speech is perfect since this is a debate in the end. So what does he lack and what is it that he could have done better? You can see a lot of analysis into what he could have done better and what he did that made it so good. So even if you search that on Google, there are huge explanations as to what he did and why he did it and how it made his speech so good. So make sure after seeing that video, you read up on what was so good about that debate that people loved it this much to make it one of the best debates in the world. So, And remember, there are apps that help you in debating. These are mainly utility apps. So one is Debate Keeper. This gives you a timer of sorts for you to keep track of the time that you're keeping. So this is quite good because it has specifically colored backgrounds for when your speech is protected and when your speech is coming to an end. And it also has a bell ring for whenever there is supposed to be a clap or bell ring. For example, when 1 minute hits, there is supposed to be a clap. When 7th minute in WSDC or 6th minute in BP is hit, that is when a clap is supposed to be done. And at the end of the speech, 2 claps are supposed to be done. And after 30 seconds, 3 claps. So this is done manually. But if you have the Debate Keeper app, this will do it for you automatically. And the colors are much better, as you can see when it's nearing the end, it turns red and you are notified that you should be ending the speech sooner. And then Debate Breaker app lets you input the amount of teams you're competing against and how much you may need to break and go to the semis, octos, or round of 16, whatever the tournament decides, both in WSDC and BP. They give you the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. So make sure to use both of these apps, as these are some of the best apps out there for a debater. So what have we learned? We have learned the sources through which we can improve our knowledge of the world and utility tools for debating. So make sure to follow all the pages and YouTube pages that I have given. Make sure to like them or subscribe to them, and make sure you're following them as much as you can to improve your knowledge. And even if you're not debating, this is some good source to keep up with the current world and improve your knowledge. So with that, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to share it with your friends if you liked it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below.